Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will be showing you how to make this super cute watermelon cardigan, and I hope you will enjoy this tutorial on how to make it. I came up with this idea quite recently and I think it's a super cute addition to my wardrobe, especially for the summer period when I will be eating a lot of watermelon. But now let's jump into the video. So here are all the materials that you are going to need. I will be using these 4 colors, which is organic cotton 4x8. You will also need crochet hook. I'm using 3.5 millimeters, and you will of course also need some scissors and buttons if you will want to include these as well, but this is kind of optional. In terms of how much yarn you will need for each color, of course red will be used the most, and you will need approximately 350 grams. Then for the darker green one you will need approximately 60 or 70 grams. For the lighter green, I think it's not more than 30 grams that you will be using. And for the black one, that's going to be used the least, and I would say not more than 10 to 20 grams of yarn. But now let's look at the pattern. So basically you will be creating multiple parts, and starting with the back panel, which will be the biggest one. Then you will also have to create 2 panels for the front and 2 sleeves, and at the end you will be adding ribbed hem for the bottom part, as well as for the inside we will be adding a part to also kind of create an edge. But now let's start creating the cardigan. We will first start by creating the back panel, and for that the first color that we are going to use is going to be this one, which is very light green. And our first step here is to do 100 chains. So just make a slip knot like this and go ahead and do 100 chains. Of course, if you're preparing a bigger size, you can do more single crochet chains as the starting point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just go ahead until you have 100. So here I have prepared all 100 chains, and it's actually quite long, but anyway, now we can proceed with the first row. But before that we have to do a starting point, so just hold your finger here and do additional 2 chains, and now we can start doing the first row. And for the first row we will be doing half double crochets. So yarn over and go through the chain where you hold your finger, pull through yarn, you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3, and then just repeat the process through the whole row. So I have done it here for a bit now, and basically this is our first row, and in total you will have to do 4 rows in this color. So just go ahead and do 4 rows in total. So finish this one and then an additional 3 rows. Here I am at the very end of first row, and remember, every time when moving forward to proceed with the next row, you first have to chain 2, then turn your work, yarn over and go through this first stitch here and pull through, and just repeat the process. From then on it's the same, and every time when changing and moving on to the next row, remember to do this. But I will meet you back again when I have completed all 4 rows of this color. So here are my 4 rows of this light green, and right here when we are at the very end, I am going to change color to this red color. And To do that, I normally just do it right before finishing the very last stitch, and I'm just tying the yarn around the existing yarn and making a knot just to make sure that everything is secure. And once you have done that, just pull it closer to the actual stitch down below here. So you have to have something that looks like this. And now when finishing this very last stitch here, we are going to use the red yarn instead. So just yarn over and go through all 3 loops, and you will have a nice red loop like this. And now just chain 2, turn your work, and continue doing half double crochets for another 3 rows. So at the very beginning it looks like this. And we can also cut off the green yarn because we are not going to use it anymore, at least not for the back panel. So yeah, just continue with the red color and go for 3 rows with plain red. Now when we have completed 3 rows of plain red, we can start working on the 4th row, and in the 4th row we will be starting to add in some watermelon seeds. So in total in this row seems like we will be able to add in approximately 4 or 5, but first, before we can actually do that, we have to get there. So I'm thinking to start adding the first watermelon seed somewhere here. So to do that, first I have to do half double crochets to get there. So let's just jump there by doing that. So let's say this is where I want to start my watermelon seed, in here. So I'm just leaving this half double crochet unfinished like this, and I will grab some black yarn. We are going to need only very short piece of yarn for this, because in total we will only be doing like 4 stitches of it. So yeah, just take a small piece of black yarn that you are going to use for your watermelon seeds and just tie it tightly by making a knot to your existing red yarn, and just pull it right next to the stitch here. And we are going to finish this half double crochet stitch by using the black yarn. So just yarn over and pull through the black yarn. And now we are going to do 1 half double crochet by using the black yarn like this. So this is how much we are actually going to need it for this row. And once you have finished that, then just leave your black yarn at the back and grab again your red one. Make sure that you tighten your stitch here, and just grab red yarn, and for the following stitch just use the red one. And this is how it's supposed to look. So we will be able to finish this or continue this watermelon seed once we get to the other side, and then we will be able to continue doing it. And in total we are going to use 3 rows for completing 1 seed, which is actually going to be like 4 stitches in total. But now let's continue with this row. We will be able to add in some more watermelon seeds later on. in total I added 4 starters for watermelon seeds in here, and I have finished with our 4th row. So I'm just going to chain 2 and turn our work, and we'll continue doing half double crochets until I meet one of the black spots that we have added in. So here I actually have one already, and in this case, once I'm next to the black one, I am going to leave half double crochet unfinished, and I will bring the red yarn on this side just so it's not in our way and it's easy to hold the stitch to keep it as it's supposed to be. And then I'm just grabbing the black yarn and using it to finish the half double crochet stitch that we just started, like this. And then we have to do half double crochets in the following 2. So yarn over and go through the stitch that we have here. It might be a bit tricky, but you will get hang of it. And then just do half double crochet like that, and another one. And in this case we have to switch back to the red yarn, so bring your black one to the back here, and just grab your red one and use it for finishing this stitch like this. It might feel a bit complicated, but after a while you will just get used to it. And then just continue doing half double crochets with red color until you meet the next black spot. But if we turn it around, this is how it looks. So on top of this, once we are on row 6, we will be adding 1 half double crochet in black color on top of this, and that will be our final one. So in total it's only 4 stitches in black that we are adding. But let's continue this row until we meet the next black one, and I will show you the process again. So here again we are 1 stitch away to the watermelon seed, so let's just do the last one halfway, like this, bringing red yarn here and holding it with my finger, and then using black one instead to finish the stitch that we have on the hook. So just pulling the yarn through, so we have black yarn on the hook, yarn over, and then doing half double crochets in the black stitches. One complete, and then 1/2 like this. And again, bringing back black yarn here and taking the red one instead to finish this stitch like this. And if you feel like you have to tighten it, then just feel free to slightly pull this yarn. But otherwise it's supposed to look like this, and it should be the same as the previous one that we did. So basically just repeat the process until you have completed this row, and then I will show you how to do the last bit of our watermelon seed. So this is how our 5th row looks like with all the half finished watermelon seeds. So now we are going to do 6th row where we will actually be able to finish them. So let's go, and we just have to get until we reach one of the seeds that we have here. So when you have reached one, then just finish the half double crochet that you have right next to the black bit of this back panel, and then grab black yarn over, go through the stitch down there and just pull the yarn through, then keep it at the back and change it with the red color and go through it again, and that is it. We are done. Continue doing half double crochets by using red color only. So this is how it's supposed to look when we have finished, and we have basically created a watermelon seed. So now just continue the same process throughout this row until you have completed all of them. So here I have reached another one, so let's just do one last half double crochet. Once you have finished that, keep your red yarn at the back. I'm just holding it here like this so it's not in my way, and then just grab the black one, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook. 2 of them are black, 1 is red. Then take again your red yarn, yarn over and pull through all 3, and then just continue with the red one, like so. And we have another one. So this is how both of them are looking. So yeah, just continue doing the same thing until you complete the whole row. So here we have completed all of our first watermelon seeds, and this is how they look. So now basically we just have to repeat the same thing as we proceed further, and you can add more or fewer seeds as you wish. Basically the complete pattern of where you add them is totally up to you. My only advice, and also just for your full understanding, is that this is our right side, and this side, as you can see, it's not as pretty. So just for the sake of consistency, I would advise for you to start adding watermelon seeds only on this side, meaning that the following row, which we will start from this side, should be empty, and then we can add in some new ones on this side, because the first stitch that we do have to be on this side, and then the other 2, which is our middle one, has to be on this side, and then the final one is on this side. I hope this very quite difficult explanation makes sense at all. But yeah, otherwise then just continue the same process and add in some more seeds as you wish. And in total, to complete one of these watermelon seeds, it takes us 3 rows. So be very careful, because if you make a mistake, it would mean that we would have to go 3 rows down, and yeah, it's not fun. But yeah, let's just continue the same thing, the same pattern, and insert as many of them as you wish and when you want. So here I have finished making the back side, which in total is 73 rows. And these 73 rows also include the green rows that we made in the very beginning. So now when this is done, we can continue with doing the front sides. And of course we will have to make 2 of them. So to do that, we can grab our green yarn, and at first we have to make a slip knot, and I'm just doing it like this. And now we have to do 45 chains, which will basically represent 45 half double crochets that we will have to do. So let's do that first. So here I have made 45 chains, and now we can just basically start doing half double crochets. But before we do that, we just have to make 2 additional chains. So I'm just going to keep my finger here and chaining 2 additional ones, and then just doing my first half double crochet in the chain where I was holding my finger, just like that. And from now on we are basically just repeating the same process as we did with the back panel. So just doing half double crochets all the way back with this light green color. So this is how far I am already, And just to save some time from this video, I'm just going to explain you a bit further what is going to happen and for how long we are going to doing this process. So this is where we are so far, and if I just place it here, this is basically where our one of the front sides will be coming. Of course, this side will be flipped around, but just to show you the pretty side. So basically now we are creating this side on the on this part, and now we will be doing 4 rows of this light green color, and then we will be switching with the red color to do 3 red plain rows. And after that we will start implementing some watermelon seeds. So basically we will be just going straight up for 39 rows. So just to save some time, we can continue doing this and going back and forth for to have 45 half double crochets in every single row. And where you want or where you feel like, you can implement some watermelon seeds as they come along, and I will meet you back again once we are about to finish row 39. So yeah, just continue creating 4 light green rows in total, then add additional red rows, which should be 3 in total, and then in total you basically have to do 39 rows with some watermelon seeds here and there, wherever you want to have them. So now I'm almost done with the row 39. We just have to finish one final stitch here, and then from row 40 we will start reducing some chains. So finishing final half double crochet there, chaining 2, turning around. So now we are on row 40, and this is where we are starting to reduce. It is always going to be on this side and always in the beginning of the row, so just keep in mind that to reduce you basically have to yarn over, go through the stitch, pull the yarn through, yarn over again and go through the next stitch and pull the yarn through. So now you have 5 loops on your hook, and just yarn over and pull the yarn through all of them. By doing this, you're basically combining 2 stitches into one, which is going to give us this reduction on this side. And once you have done that, you can basically just continue half double crocheting until the very end of the row, and then just going back as we did. So this is how it looks, and basically now we just continue until the end of the row with no reductions there. Then we turn it on the other side to do this side, and we again do half double crochets until the very end in every single stitch. And once we are back on this side, we will do another reduction here, and I will meet you back there just to do it once more together with you. Here I am at the very end of row 41, so just doing a final half double crochet here, chaining 2, flipping over, and we are on row 42 where we are ready to do a reduction for the second time. So yarn over, go through here, pull the yarn through, yarn over again, go through the second stitch, 5 loops on the hook, and pull the yarn through all of them, and just repeat the process again. So this is how it looks, and you can slowly start to see that there is a little bit of angle coming up here. So we are going to do reduction up until we only have 32 stitches in one row. So we will basically end reducing once we have reached row 62. So just continue as you go, and keep on reducing on this side until you have 32 stitches left in one row. And once you have done that, I will meet you back again. So now I have got this far, and at the moment I only have 32 stitches in one row. So basically when you reach this point, you can just continue doing half double crochets in every single stitch without reducing on either of sides, and you just have to continue doing that until you reach 73 rows in total. But yeah, as you can see here, we have this nice side which is basically going to be the middle of our cardigan, and as you can see, the reduction is quite gradual, so it's not like we are just cutting it off super strict. But yeah, just continue doing half double crochets back and forth until you reach 73 rows in total. So this is how it looks when one of the sides is done. So you can see that here we have this gradual decrease, and at the very top we just did some simple plain rows without any decrease. So now basically what you have to do is to do the same thing exactly on the other side, but the only difference will be that here when we will start doing the crease, on this side we did it in the very beginning of the row, so on the other side we will have to do by the end of the row. And I have actually already prepared both of the sides, so you can see here that it's basically like a mirrored shape. So when you are doing this side, when you are on row 40, you know that you will have to do your first decrease at the very end, where on this side we did it in the very beginning. And then you basically just do all your decreases at the end of the rows where you have to do that. And then once you have reached the top, you do the same thing as doing just full rows without any decrease until you reached 73 rows for both of the sides. So this is how it looks when both of the front sides are done. So now we are going to continue with doing the sleeves, and the first color that we are going to use is going to be this dark green one. And the first part that we will prepare for the sleeves are going to be the part that goes around your wrists here. So to do that, we will first start by doing a slip knot. So just prepare that, put it on your hook, and then chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 13, 14, 15. So we have 15 chains, and now let's just keep our finger to the last chain that we did, do additional one, and then do single crochets into every single chain that we did, and just do them all the way back till the beginning. So now we are done with our first row, and when that's done, just chain one and turn your work around, and we are going to do single crochet stitches in the back loops only, which means that here we have, this is our first chain that we just did, so we will do single crochet in the next one, and we will use back loops only. So going through the middle here, grabbing yarn and doing a single crochet stitch, and the same thing for the following ones. So back loops only. So now I have finished first two rows, and as you might be able to see, they are a bit stretchier than if we would do both loops. But let's just do a couple of more rows and I will show you the difference. but in total we will have to do 36 rows of these, or whatever size fits your wrist the best. So again, chain 1, turn your work and do single crochets in back loops only, and continue doing that for approximately 36 rows. And once you have a bit more rows, you will be able to see that it has this stretchy feeling and look. Now I have done a few more rows, so now it's actually easier to see the effect that back loops does to this. And as you can see, it's a bit wavy, and it's also a bit more stretchy than it would be compared if doing only in both loops basically. But just continue doing this until you reach approximately 36 rows, which is the amount of rows that I'm going to do. Or you can do a bit more if you feel like it will fit you better. And I will meet you back then. So here I have finished all 36 rows, and as you can see, it's nice and stretchy. But the next step for us is to basically do single crochets on this side of this piece, and there will be one single crochet on top of every row that we have there. So I'm just going to chain 1, and then we will have to go in here on top of every single row like this. So what you want to do is basically do one single crochet here and then the following there. So it's always like that, one there, moving to next two here and here, and so on, all the way until the end. So just continue doing this all the way until the end. Now I'm about to finish my last single crochet here, but before I do so, we are going to change color to this lighter green one, which we actually used already before for the other parts of the cardigan. So I'm just going to tie the yarn here like so, and just moving it closer so it's right there at the very end, and making sure that it's secure. So now I'm just going to finish the last stitch by using this yarn, and now we are going to chain 2, flipping our work to the other side. And now we are going to use this lighter green color for the following rows, and for the first one we are going to do 2 half double crochets in every single stitch that we have. So 2 of them goes there, moving forward to the next one, 1 and 2, third one also gets 2, and so on. So let's just finish this row by doing 2 stitches in every single of them. So this is how it looks, and you just have to continue that until the very end once we get here. And now we know that we can also cut off this yarn, as it's pretty secure, and we won't need the dark green for a while now. So here I'm done with the first row. So next step for us is basically to chain 2, and then we can flip our work, and in the first stitch here we are going to do 2 half double crochets, so 1 and 2, and then for the remaining row we will just do 1 half double crochet in each stitch, and we will do that until the very end of the row. So this is how row 2 is supposed to look, and I will meet you back again when I will start row 3. Here I have finished row 2, and now for row 3 again we are chaining 2 and doing an increase in the very first stitch, meaning that we do 1 half double crochet and we do another one in the same stitch there, and then we just continue doing 1 half double crochet in every single stitch as we did before. So let's just continue doing that until the very end, and that will be our row 3. And then for row 4 we do no increase, we just continue as it is, 1 half double crochet in each stitch, and that will be it. I'm done with row 3, so now I will be starting row 4 by chaining 2, flipping my work, and then from now on we are not doing any increases at all. And this will also be our final row with this color, and at the end of this row we will change the color to the red. I'm just about to finish row 4, but as I mentioned, before we do so I will be changing color to the red that we used before. And just as we did before, just tying the yarn that we used before, making a secure knot and just pulling it right next to the needle. And let's use this red one for finishing the last stitch. And then again just chaining 2 and repeating row 3 basically. Row 4, sorry. So basically now we will be doing 3 rows with plain red, and after that we will start implementing some watermelon seeds in there. And in total, basically including all these rows that we are already doing, in total we will have to do approximately 63 rows. But of course, if you feel like you need extra rows, then just go ahead and add them as you go. But yeah, this is the process, just continuing with the 3 plain red rows for the moment, and then starting from 4th red row, you can start adding in some watermelon seeds, following the process as I showed before. So this is how a finished sleeve looks like, and yeah, as you can see, here is the stretchy part that we prepared in the beginning. Then we did 4 rows of lighter green, where the first row was basically increase. Row 2 and 3 only had increase at the very first stitch, and then starting from row 4 we didn't have any increase at all, and after that we did 3 plain rows of just red, and then we added in some watermelon seeds. So this is how it looks if I open it, just for your visibility on how much material is being used basically, but of course at the end it is going to be connected like this, and this is pretty much how it's going to look. And here I have prepared both sleeves, so now we can basically proceed with the next steps, because now we have all the pieces already ready, so we can now start connecting them all together. So my advice is basically to lay them all out on the floor according to the pattern, so it's easier to connect all the pieces and to understand what goes where. I first started by connecting the front panels to the back panel, and to do that I had to open them up so the inside is facing upwards, and I did that by connecting upper part of both of the panels from the inside out, and I did that by using a simple slip stitch. And I also did that in the red by using the red yarn, because that is our dominating yarn for both of the panels. And just go all the way through both panels until they are connected. After that, I proceeded further with connecting the sleeves, and to do that I did it in this way so that everything is opened up facing upwards. So first I connected this side, and once that was done I connected the sleeve itself, and then proceeded further to the front and back panels, the side parts. And once that was done for one side, I did exactly the same thing also for the other side. And all the way through I was using slip stitch. For most part it was the red yarn, but where I had the lighter green pieces or darker green pieces, I was using the corresponding yarn color for those pieces there. So now when we have connected all the parts together, we can continue with the bottom part and adding a ribbed hem here, very similar as we have for the sleeves. So let's continue with that. So to do that, we will start by attaching this darker green yarn, and to do that I will turn around a little bit here, and I will basically be starting from this side, where I will take my green yarn, and in a very simple way I will just tie it here where we finished. So just attaching it by pulling through and making a secure knot, just to make sure that it won't untie, just like that. And then pulling my yarn through and chaining one. So what we are going to do now is that we will do single crochet stitches all the way through until we reach the other side of this bottom part. So let's start doing that. So just going through every single stitch with my hook and pulling the yarn through. So just continue doing this until you reach the very end, and then I will meet you back again. Here I have finished the whole row of single crochet stitches of the green color, and now we can basically move forward with the ribbed part that we will be adding here. So to do that we will be starting and continuing from where we left, and we will have to start by doing 15 chains basically. So 1, 2, 3, 14 and 15. So once that is done, what we are going to do now is basically that we will be working all the way here, like that, like that, like that. And so the first step for us is to hold our finger here on the last stitch, and then just chain one, and we will be going back in the chain where we held our finger, and here we will be doing single crochets again all the way back until we reach the bottom part of our cardigan. So just doing single crochet stitches all the way back. So now when we have completed the first row and we are basically back at the very beginning, we will do a slip stitch here in the first stitch to connect this part together. So just going through both loops at the bottom and pulling the yarn through and pulling it through the loop on the hook as well. So it's now attached here, and the next step for us would be to skip the following stitch, and then in the next one we are again going through and doing a slip stitch again. So this is our first row, and now for us we have to turn our work around and we can start working on the second row. To do that, we will first be skipping the last 2 stitches where we did the slip stitch. So 1 and 2, those will be skipped, and starting from the 3rd stitch we will be doing again single crochets, but only in the back loops. So this is what I'm going to do, skipping first 2 and then going into this stitch here in the back loop and doing single crochet stitches all the way through until we reach the end again. And so we are now done with the second row. To finish this and start the third one, we will basically have to chain 1, then again turning the work around and again doing single crochets only in back loops all the way through until we reach the end again. So now we are again done with the third row, and what we are going to do is basically the same as we did before. We will first connect it here by doing a slip stitch, then again skipping 1 stitch here and doing another slip stitch in the following. So we have connected it like that. Then again turning our work around, and just as before we will skip 2 stitches. So we are skipping 1, 2 and then going into the third one where we will again do single crochets only in the back loops. And by doing it in the back loops, it will basically create this ribbed effect that we want for this bottom part. So yeah, let's just continue doing this following the same pattern as for the first couple of rows, and we will have to do that until we complete the whole bottom part. So this is how far we are at the moment. So just continue repeating the same until we have completed the bottom ribbed part for the whole cardigan. So just repeat the same process as we did here and go all the way around until you reach the end, and then I will meet you back again. Now I'm done with the bottom part, and here is my finishing here. So what we can do here, I already did an extra chain here, so I will just pull the yarn a little bit more and then I will just cut it off, and we are done with the bottom part. So now our next step is to literally work on the inner part here and go all the way through until we reach the other side. So what we are going to do is that we will attach yarn here, and we will be doing single crochet stitches all the way around until we get to the other side. So the important thing to note here is that we will be using corresponding color for each part, so green here, lighter green here, and red here. And what we will also have to do is that here we have stitches that we will be making an extra stitch on top of them, but here we have the rows. So my advice here is to do 1 single crochet stitch on top of each row to have a consistency kind of thing. But now let's continue, and I will be attaching yarn here, and we will be starting to do single crochet stitches all the way around until we reach the other part. So I will just attach here. And then I will make a secure knot just as before. Pulling yarn through, chaining one, and now we can move to the next one. Now that I'm basically at the last stitch, I will just do it like this, and this is time when we are switching the color to the next one. So just as before, I will just attach my yarn here by doing a knot like that, pulling it a little bit forward, tightening it again, and to finish this stitch I will now be using the lighter green color, just like this. And now, as you can see, and as I mentioned, we will be doing one single crochet on top of each row for consistency. So going in here, like that, and here I will again have to switch the color to the red one. So again, just tying the yarn here, pulling it closer and making sure it's secure. And now I will be using the red color to finish this stitch as well as for the following stitches. So this is where we are now, and just basically continue doing the same thing until you reach the other side. So now I have got to the other side, and this is basically how it looks. As you can see, we have consistency, although it does feel a little bit more like stretched together, but that will help us in the future when we start working on that part. So what we are going to do now is we will start working on this inner part, and it's basically going to be very similar as we did for the bottom part, with some extra changes, but otherwise the process will be pretty much the same. So what we are not going to do is that we won't have this ribbed part, so we will be doing stitches in both loops instead of only back loops, and also we won't be doing any reductions because we are kind of already having some sort of reduction here. Yeah, so let's just finish the last stitch here. I will just do single crochet just as I did the whole way around, and now we can start with the inner part. So to do that, we will chain 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 and 12. So this is going to be how wide is going to be our inner piece, and when we have 12 we can chain an extra one, and we will start working on this side here. So just doing single crochet stitches all the way back. So now I have completed the first row and we have 12 stitches in total. So now we have to attach this row here by doing a slip stitch. So just go through and attach it. And if you remember from before, we were doing reduction where we skipped one stitch here, but in this case we won't be doing that. So just doing another slip stitch right in the next stitch there. And from then on, we just flip our work and we can start doing single crochets all the way until we reach the end. and this time we are going through both loops, just because we are not doing the ribbed part. So just keep on doing that. And this is basically the process. I hope this explanation is simple enough. So just keep on repeating the same thing until you go all the way through the whole cardigan inner part. And when you reach the end of the row, remember to chain 1, flip your work, and continue doing the same thing just as before. So yeah, just continue doing that all the way around, and I will try to meet you somewhere in the middle as well. So this is how far I have got so far, and as you can see, as I mentioned, on the side here it is also getting this ribbed effect, just because we were adding only one slip stitch on top of each row, and it wasn't enough, so therefore it is having this effect, which is exactly what I wanted. And I also decided that I will be adding in some buttonholes, so this is what I'm going to show you now. And basically what I did was that first hole I added after about 8 rows, and then every other after 15 rows. So here I'm done with my 15th row, and I will be turning it around. And what we are going to do is that we will do 5 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And when you have done the 5th one, just do 2 chains. Which means that we'll be skipping 2 stitches at the bottom, so 1, 2, and continuing with the 3rd one, where we are again doing single crochet. So we have 5 left. This is our 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th one. So when you have done the 5th one at the end, it means that we have to connect the row again. So just going in here, connecting with slip stitch, doing another slip stitch in the next one. We are done, flipping around and starting with the new row. As usually we have to skip first 2 stitches, 1, 2, and we are starting in the 3rd one here, and doing again single crochet stitches until we reach the hole. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And as you can see, we are here at the hole now, so our 6th and 7th stitch we will be doing inside from here. So going in with the hook, pulling through 6th, and again same with the 7th. So this is how it looks, and then ending everything else just by doing regular single crochet stitches. So this is how it looks, and these are all my buttonholes. So in total it seems like I will be able to make 4, because we are soon approaching the reduction part that we did for the front pieces. But basically this is it. This is very optional. If you don't want to do it, then don't. Otherwise I'm just going to continue all the way through and until we reach the very end at the same part on the other side. And of course on the other side we won't be adding any buttonholes, because on the other side we will actually have to put in the buttons. So yeah, just continue going all the way through, just as I mentioned before. So as you can see, I have finished the inner part on both sides. So for now we really just have to add in our buttons, and then we will basically be done with the cardigan. And as you can see, I have 4 buttonholes here. So the process now is to basically add the buttons right in exactly the same places as we have the holes, and just be careful and try to count on which row exactly the button is supposed to go, so it's nice and even. And of course, to attach them you will also need a needle and some black thread to do that. And I have chosen my buttons in black, so it kind of goes together with the watermelon seeds that we added in here. So here I'm done with adding all 4 buttons, and we are basically done with the cardigan. Now just the last part is really to just weave in all these loose ends, and then we are done. Thanks for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that this tutorial is going to be useful for you in case you are going to make this type of cardigan as well. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask in the comment section and I will try to help you from there. But otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, please give me a big thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, and see you later. Bye!